Hi, I'm Mitchell Ringos. Welcome to Word for Word, where we offer you an in-depth look at some of our interviews with newsmakers from across the Northwest. Mayor Kenoshkoff officially pledged to meet the provincial housing target of 2,200 homes by 2031, putting him in line for strong mayor powers. Kenoshkoff sent the paperwork to the province after a meeting where council showed strong opposition to the move.
Okay, obviously we had the discussion Monday regarding strong mayor powers. You have officially put forward the, required paperwork. Can you maybe explain what that process was and what exactly you committed to?
Well, basically, we have responded to the request to make a pledge for housing targets. And so we, as a municipality, that's well within our capacity to do so. So to me, that's really facilitating a process of making sure that the rest of the province knows that we're building houses and we're going to be prepared for the mining boom.
And build off that, it's something you've spoken of, the mining boom. It's got a lot of people throughout the city excited about the potential it could bring economically, many areas. Can you speak to how this ties in with the mining boom?
Well, there is no doubt, especially after last week's major conference of, thousands of people were here for that. If anybody had any doubts about the reality of that, they certainly would have been satisfied that, yes, this is real. And you can tell by the demand for office space and the number of people who want to move here. We have to be ready for them.
And strong mayor powers itself, in terms of dates, I know the deadline was the 15th. It sounds like those would kick in at the end of October. There are still some unknowns regarding them, some confusion on everyone's end. It seems like the province is still waiting to give some information. Is there a point where there will be discussions with the province between you, administration, that will kind of clear up more about what these are going to look like?
Well, that's for sure. So going through the steps, the first is the province advised that if we wanted to be eligible for additional funding, that we would have to commit to a pledge building a certain number of houses. It's well within our capacity, and so step two is to make sure that we have the lots available and that we're doing everything we can to expedite. So the third part of that is having a professional planning and building department who are pretty much up to speed and ready to do what they do regularly. So you add all these things together, the housing pledge, if you will, is really us committing to be part of that program and making sure we're eligible for provincial funding.
And obviously that provincial funding is going to help. Like we said, we need the housing for sure in the city currently. In terms of developers getting others, what kind of conversations are those going to look like, ensuring that those who are actually going to build the houses themselves are ready to hit this capacity?
I have, if I don't have a dozen, I have at least 10 pledges from builders saying they're on board and they really want to participate in this. So to me, that was really part of the convincing, saying, okay, these people are keen. We, as a municipality, have to assist in making sure the infrastructure is there to get these things going.
And we touched on housing quite a bit there. You answered a lot of my questions. In terms of the powers themselves, like I said, still some unknowns. In terms of what's currently in strong mayor powers at this point, it includes a few things in terms of bylaws, gives you a little more power, depending on a council vote, restructuring administration in certain areas. Is there anything on your mind right now that you say, this is an area I could utilize these that would make a more effective municipality?
I think that if my first priority would be to make it easier for our planning department to assist people in the processing. And so if they need help, they would be the first people I would say, what can I do to help you help them?
And I know it's something you said previously, a lot of this you still will take council's consideration when you're making larger decisions. Are there large decisions on your mind that could come through these powers, something drastic in terms of changes, or is that yet to come?
Quite frankly, not. The council's been working very well together in general. I mean, there's no perfect romance in any of these types of, you have 13 strong individuals. So to me, at this point, there isn't anything that I'm kind of rubbing my hands saying I'm going to do this or that. Because my goal, first of all, is to ensure we have a steady, stable organization, and to ensure that council and the administration are working together, and that's really first and foremost. And if there comes a time that some of these extra strength helpers may be required, I'm not one to act unilaterally. I would certainly be consulting the whole council.
And maybe just a couple more quick ones. We did speak Monday right after the discussion itself. It wasn't the vote you were looking for. Since then, have you had discussions with councillors on either side of the vote regarding strong mayor powers? Has that been up over this past week?
I have spoken to a few, and they all say the same. It's not you. But of course, like, who else might it be that they were thinking of? So that humor aside, it really comes down to regaining the confidence of council, because we'd been working very well together up until that vote. So I think that sooner than later, council will regain their confidence in me.
Okay, so it does sound like, I think this is my last one, and then maybe one just next step question. So it sounds like you believe that was more of a vote against your confidence rather than the strong mayor system legislation itself?
It's hard for me as the individual. There's only one person in the city that they could be talking about. So I do believe that was based on principle about the position and not the person.
A Red Rock man who lives with autism has written, illustrated, and published 2 children's books. Zachary Hendrickin was at the Brody Library this past week for a book signing for his latest work titled The Little Bird Learns to Fly.
Okay. So just tell me a little bit about yourself, like like how you got into writing.
Well, I'm very hardworking, respectful, responsible, and it came naturally. So it's kind of something I like doing now as a new experience to achieving my goal and making my life happen very well. And I never give up on anything I put my mind to. So I keep on trying, no matter what complicated thing comes to appearance. So that's why I keep trying.
Yeah. Oh, that's an amazing sentiment. And just talk about like, what is your goal? You mentioned that you're working towards that. So what is that goal? Like, how many books do you want to publish?
Well, my goal is to move back to Red Rock and travel to California one day. So I would like to do more books, which I have in the works, but not done yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping to get them done soon, whenever I can. I just have to have more time.
Yeah. And just talk a little bit about your story and how you decided to start writing these books and drawing these books.
I just started them out of the blue. So I kind of thought it would be something I wanted to do, like as a new experience. So I just keep doing it, and once I keep on going with that, I start to like it as a career. So it's fun to write books and draw them.
Right. And your one of your book is about like the little bird. So like what's like, who does the little bird represent? Like what made you want to write a book about a bird?
Well, the bird is named Jason, and I created him myself because he because he looks like a perfect bird that I think fits in my stories. So I want to maybe keep him in more future books, or maybe come up with new characters that I might have in mind. But right now, I have Jason as my character for a start.
Yeah. And you know, with Jason in these books, like who are you writing to inspire?
I have everyone to inspire me with how good of a job I do with my work, and I try to help them with autism too. If anything is a problem, or if they just need help like I do, and we all work together because we're like a team, and a wonderful family and friends to our home planet, and we always give each other love and respect, because I'm a greeter and I always give everyone my greeting love when I say, have a wonderful day and welcome to my store. I hope you enjoy your time shopping.
A virtual tour was held recently showcasing the highly anticipated new art gallery on Thunder Bay's waterfront. The tour highlighted the gallery's top features and gave perspective on the scale of the building.
We were just talking about like how exciting it is to finally get to, you know, see like perspective on the inside. So just talk about the excitement for you and just for the entire culmination of the building of this building.
Well, the Thunder Bay Art Gallery's connection to place is just going to be so amplified in this incredibly designed space right down on the city's waterfront. I think if people have had a chance to visit the waterfront and even the construction site, they know how incredible the view is, how incredible this facility will be, and especially the ways it'll reach out to community as part of the waterfront and downtown and continue the art gallery's fantastic work in terms of education, in terms of connection to community and being a space that's welcoming for everyone. So the new building will be a fantastic part of that history and continue on our good work.
Right. And as far as like I heard Sharon talk a little bit about, it can be expected to be you know, open its doors close to the end of 2025. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, we're excited to be moving towards that point. There have been unexpected delays, but in certain ways, because of COVID, I think that's becoming kind of normal with construction projects. But it's one that we're moving towards with that goal, and really excited about achieving that and seeing that through. So you can see in the designs and some of the plans that are in place, the ways that that'll be realized and the ways that that'll benefit our city and our community.
And as far as the delays, like, is it just the, what's it called, the total pricing for the construction supplies, or what other delays have kind of impacted the construction?
There's part of the specificities of that site, remediation and some of the industrial spaces that have happened down there. And yeah, obviously supply lines and some of the normal things you hear around COVID-related delays and construction costs, yeah. For sure.
Did you have any questions?
Well, just that opening date just sounds like maybe a best case scenario for late 2025. Can you speak about what the confidence is for that, and is there like a range of when you're expecting it could be, kind of thing?
I think one of the things that came through here is we have an incredible team, and I put my trust in some of the people that are seeing that through and going to develop that. I think late 2025 is a reasonable goal and relatively firm in our minds, and how we're planning and moving towards that realization. Yeah.
And have there been any significant additions to like the already like to the construction process, or has there been any significant cuts to it?
There have been significant modifications in terms of designs, areas that we can capitalize on cost savings and look to be more efficient in terms of the design and the ways that we're working and building. This is a purpose-designed facility. It is an art gallery, and we're caring for a world-class collection. So inherent in that are certain standards set out by the Department of Canadian Heritage and expectations of the ways that we care for that work and the ways that we exhibit it. So when we're having those discussions around where we can save and where we can be more efficient in building, we always want to stay centered and care for the work and care stewardship for the collection and some of the things we're doing there. So those discussions are ongoing and evolve under the circumstances, but we have an incredible team and we'll achieve it. Yeah.
Okay. And just last question for you. You mentioned at the beginning of your speech just the overall economy impact that an art gallery can have on a city. So just talk a little bit more detail about that and how it could affect the city of Thunder Bay.
Yeah, I think one of the fantastic things about this project is a lot of the money coming in federally and provincially, and the city's match and contributions are being spent locally. The construction firms, the firms that we're working with, it's staying in Thunder Bay, and I think that is very much in the spirit of the Thunder Bay Art Gallery. One of the things that I don't know if every resident of Thunder Bay has a sense is the world-class artists, the incredible work in the collection, and also the artists that are working in our community. So this is a facility that meets those standards and that will enhance and amplify that in our community.
Did you have any more questions?
Yeah, maybe just one or two. Yeah. So we've asked Sharon about this, I feel like many times, but just with your own perspective coming into this role, how will the new location change the way the community interacts with the art gallery and maybe ability to be exposed to more art?
Yeah, I've worked a lot with public art, and I think one of the things you cannot discount is what curators will tend to call a stumble upon factor. The ways in which you have these casual encounters with art and art spaces. And this location in the downtown is part of an integrated waterfront, which is already a beautiful design, whether it's the trails, whether it's living spaces, other destinations that are going to be down there. It's going to have a sort of, there's going to be an intersection, it's going to amplify those things. And people are going to stumble upon our art collection, our art gallery in these totally different ways. And I also think that centralized location allows for a different degree of accessibility and outreach in relation to community here. We have incredible education and public programs already in place, but this sort of shift in our scale and in our operations allows for far more of that work, more volume in that work, and the ways that we interact with community and support Thunder Bay. So that is incredibly exciting. And I think, yeah, that's what I'd say about that. Yeah.
And just a couple of financial detail kind of questions. One is, so this extra $5 million that's being sought, does that mean that, is there an updated estimate for the project around $55 million in total, or where are you guys kind of seeing this land at this point?
I think the original budget projection was is around 57 million now. Yeah, those are definitely evolving figures, and I think we are looking at different ways around cost savings, but committed to achieving this building. So understanding that there is some fundraising and there is some work to do on that front, but also knowing that we've had great success already to this point, and we will continue with that.
What are the stakes with this fundraising campaign? If the gallery were to not be able to realize this fundraising target, what are you looking at? Is it potentially cutting out amenities, or can you speak about what the impact of these donations, I guess, would be?
Well, the impact of the donations is significant in the sense that it lets us achieve this space. It's the community support that we're relying on to do this. I think when we're thinking through scenarios or other changes, we want to make sure that those are responsive to circumstances, and until those circumstances emerge, we can't really speak to those details.
I guess maybe what some community members will be wondering is, if the gallery doesn't hit this $5 million target, is that the death of this project, or is it just something you'd have to manage? I mean, to be, I guess, blunt, but I do think people will wonder about that.
Yeah, I think that is, I think what you're articulating there is a worst case scenario. We're coming through a pandemic. I think we all know that worst case scenarios are possible, but at the same time, that's not the approach we're taking to the project, and that's not what's gotten us to this point, which is a significant and exciting possibility that's already in place. And I also think it's important for us to keep in mind how powerful art can be in relation to these things and the ways that art can work in our community, and I think I have confidence that we'll reach those goals with that in mind. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for today's edition of Word for Word. We'll be back tomorrow with more interviews from across the Northwest.